Hi everybody. Um,
Hi.
I
Hey.
have to I have to say not to be like nerdy, but I watched this movie with my in-laws and on Thanksgiving Day, and we had a
It's awesome.
great time. This was the usually like Thanksgiving, I'm one of the people that are like, what are we gonna watch? Joey's gonna recommend something, and I may suggest something a little dark, maybe a little you know, heavy awards season fare, but we opted for Spirited, luckily, because and that was a great time as had by all. I have been listening to it sort of nonstop since I watched it. So long story short, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Thanks for
Yes,
watching
of
it.
course.
Yeah,
I
that's awesome. Thank you for watching.
yeah. I wanted to ask about okay, for Good Afternoon. That song has been stuck in my head since I watched it in a very good way. Sometimes it can be a bad thing to have a song stuck in your head, but this is a lot of fun.
Right.
It kind of reminded me of, and stay with me here, it kind of reminded me of um the opening song of Beauty and the Beast. The like and
Um,
but instead of everyone saying bonjour,
Yes.
bonjour, it was basically
right.
telling everyone to go F themselves. Um
Exactly.
Wanted to get that out of the way. I wanted to know because Will and Ryan aren't known as singers. I was very impressed with both of them. It sort of reminded me of that, like, isn't there like a Sondheim quote where he talks about like it's not about like the singing, it's about like the emotion and the acting. Um, I was wondering if you guys could tell me what's sort of the most exciting thing about collaborating with two hugely funny people on a song that as soon as it starts, it's like a roller coaster and it just goes like this, and you sort of have to hold on for dear life.
Hey,
Yeah.
Benj.
Um, hello. Yeah, exactly. So like I obviously we had the great gift of getting to of writing this number knowing that it was going to be ultimately performed and sung. I will
Okay.
say I think lovely, lovingly and pretty well done
Mhm.
by Ryan and Will, who are, two of the great sort of comedic actors of our time. Not
Mhm.
only that, but the idea for making a song about the Good Afternoon concept. I don't know if the concept of it being a swear and like a f off um, came from Ryan himself. I think it might have, but the idea for a song, the first time we ever met about this project,
Mhm.
Ryan was like pitching it, and he's like, I think that there's got to be just a song that's like sometimes people like pitch song ideas who aren't songwriters, and you're like, okay, yeah, maybe, whatever. But he was like, there's just got to be a song where like basically everyone's just saying good afternoon to each other, and it's just mayhem and crazy. And we were like, honestly, yes, there does have to be a song where it's just everyone singing good afternoon together. But obviously, the job of this group was to create a number that still was had great craft to it and hopefully got stuck in your head like it has been stuck in yours, Joey. So sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
No
uh,
apologies needed.
but that was also that was also like the greatest joy. We wrote these songs basically over Zoom and Google Docs over a period of a few months. This song in
Wow.
particular, it was basically just a Google Doc of maybe 40 pages long, and it was
Mhm.
everyone just dumping line after line, couplet after couplet, rhyme after rhyme of sort of like how can we create the biggest boom and bang of a crazy song where they're singing good afternoon to each other, but we're as you said, it's like Beauty and the Beast. We're going all around the town. We're going from this person has the um uh he has the plague, and this is what like basically setting off all these bombs literally and figuratively all over this Dickensian London, and sort of like paying tribute to Beauty and the Beast and to Oliver and to Mary Poppins and all those things. And so it was definitely the most fun I think that we all have had in a long time of creating this song together.
Yeah, the movement of the song is so delightfully it could fall apart so easy and it never does because it is like you guys basically introduced like 12 different new characters and they each have like one different line. That line, I think my mother-in-law reacted very vocally to Kiss My Dickens Son. That is a very brilliant line. I guess is there sort if you guys can all sort of tell me like what is since he's doing it over Zoom and Google Docs has to be another level of complexity, I guess we could say. I guess is how do you sort of fine tune that sort of freneticism so it doesn't go off the rails, if that makes sense? Because in my opinion, it's very beautifully controlled chaos.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
feel like I feel like the benefit of having this many songwriters is that we were able to kind of keep each other in check and make sure
Mhm.
it didn't go off the rails. So
Okay.
5 minds kind of working to make sure it's both outrageous, super funny, but very meticulous and how it builds. I think having, all 5 of us contributing actually helped to make it as streamlined as possible.
I feel like it felt like there were like a lot of little elves all working on, one present at a time. Like literally, we were all in like this Google Doc together and we would all be working on even one individual couplet or even one line. Like, an example would be like, deplorem with decorum, like your Judy Bloody Dench. Like, there's an internal rhyme, then there's the Judy Dench line, then there's all these different options for what's going to rhyme with Judy Dench. Like all of that stuff, like someone was editing deplorem. Okay, what's a rhyme for deplorem? Okay, we got decorum, we got this, we got that. Like, so that even on one line, you could see multiple people working within one line, and we all were sort of bettering and adding new jokes and adding, options. And so it became this really like wonderful sort of hive mind in real time,
Okay.
this like this collective process of getting to work on lyrics together, which is, more normalized in like a creative TV writer's room or in a pop song session, but doesn't get to happen a lot with theatrical writing. And because everybody on this all comes from the theatrical world, we all are using the same vernacular, like literally and metaphorically. Like we all think about, something called pure rhyme. Like, there's like no misaccents. It's all pure rhyme in the sense that it's, like using alliteration. We all come from that same world. So yeah, just getting to kind of like build on each other, like almost like a Lego set where we all got to tinker at the same time. It's so thrilling.
I do like the
And
idea
then
of you all being elves on one little present, sort of. Someone's in charge of the corners, someone's in charge of curling the bow.
That's exactly
sorry.
right. But
Yeah.
it is all part of like a larger thing that we're making, but we all are like working on our own little sections and then kind of correcting each other's. And, it really was sort of seamlessly put together in that way.
And then we go back to the filmmakers, which is also part of it too. I mean, with Good Afternoon, like they are, they're storyboarding every minute. They're writing like the whole thing with Kiss Your Dickens. Like we had put that in a lyric, and then Sean and John went, "Oh, this could be like an extended thing, like a baby's gonna walk by." Like, and so that part of what helps control the chaos a little bit is their vision and what they're able to shoot as well. I mean, the Judy Dench line is a good example where I think initially we were talking about like calling someone a wench, or it was some other joke that they were like, we can't shoot that exactly. And so then we pitch French as another rhyme they're like, we can get Judy Dench, but we can't shoot the wench part. So can we find a different way to do that? But that's part of the collaboration too. It's part, get ideas, but also then just have, Sean envisioning how this is actually going to work on set, and having that trickle down not only to us, but the hundreds of people working on just that sequence in the movie.
So if I like invaded the Google Doc and I erased Judy Dench and I added somebody else's name,
I might add it right back in. Nice try.
yeah,
wait. So Sukari, speak to that, because like that's the other thing we were saying about like how we all kept each other in line. Like there was like a pro Judy Dench faction. There was like a anti Judy. It was like, this is too much. We're going too far. But I feel like you literally, Sukari was like, we have to do it.
You
like
can't
if anyone
go far enough.
Well, I mean, like that has to be like my favorite sight gag. It's not even just a sight gag. It's a sight gag and like an oral sight gag, or you know what I mean. But it's sort of like I sort of could not believe what I was seeing and what I was hearing at the same time. And the only reason I said it was like I wanted to ask if you guys had any sort of different, like, was it Maggie Smith at one point? Who knows? Beautiful different.
It was Judy Dench and only Judy. It was going to be Judy. We were going to go all the way.
I need that on a shirt.
Well, and it's
only Judy Dench.
And it's sort of magical, because it was like it was really like to be honest, we never dreamed that. I mean, we sort of, in like maybe some like pipe dreamy sort of way, we never really were like, and then Judi Dench will come on the screen. It was sort of like, and Ryan and Will, as these characters, will sing Deployment, like, let's just reference Judi Dench. And then it was like, well, could it be Judi Dench? And then, like, next thing you know, it's gonna actually be Judi Dench singing the line.
I don't think enough people are talking about that. I'm gonna start ringing the bell on the fact that there's Judi Dench in this movie. Starts with you guys. I do want to ask, if I can, Ben and Justin, about a little bit of Do a Little Good, if I may. Sort of tying into like this, something about these two songs. I like how when I was looking at just the lyrics, I was really impressed by the simplicity of the words, and something about the phrase "do a little good" is a simple phrase, sort of like how "good afternoon" is a simple and very common phrase. But I wonder how you sort of tap into the purity of that, of the concept of that, without becoming cynical. Maybe I'm just a somewhat cynical little gay guy over here, but I feel like I was very sort of touched by that, and it sort of made me think of the simplicity of just the phrase "good afternoon" and "do a little good." Can you sort of talk to me about sort of going for the beautiful positivity of that? Sorry, long roundabout way to ask.
Well, you're on a call with several other, sweet little gay boys who want the same sweet little gay energy and all the things. I think, I think it's a Sondheim saying when he talks about "I feel pretty," that like maybe the lyrics in "I feel pretty" might have been too sophisticated in the way that the character was expressing herself. So like, should he have written something else? I think like, obviously we're all very grateful that he wrote, "I feel pretty," but the idea that like the character and the content, should match in some way. And that's what's fun about, like, obviously you want to talk about "Do a Little Good," but in "Good Afternoon," it's really fun because they're getting to play this Dickensian England thing that really is about talking about a different style and using language that feels like it's reflecting that style. "Do a Little Good" is sort of the most pure, after we've gone through this entire movie and after you've gotten a little bit more sophisticated rhymes, two very intellectual guys who think that they've got it all figured out. The song is essentially about, maybe we don't have it all figured out, and maybe it's a journey, and maybe just trying in the smallest of ways is enough. So I think that the only reason that we could have written a "Do a Little Good" is because we got to write a "Good Afternoon." You know what I mean? And it comes from this sort of overly complex thing that we're in a tizzy, and we're actually like trying to be overly intellectual. And where you get to at a certain point is like, okay, well, maybe just doing our best in the smallest of ways is enough, and that's the goal that we should be driving towards. So we really think of songs as extensions of scores. And how all of them have to work together. And so this is like such I think an example that like we couldn't have written that without "Good Afternoon" working as effectively as it did, and some of the other songs in the film. And that they have like a beautiful kind of symbiotic relationship with each other, that one gives permission for the other.
You have to get through the good afternoons in order to do a little good. That's what I thought of a little bit. Not to be a little Pollyanna about it, but that's where I came to.
It's true.
I like it.
You can take it. It's all yours.
Careful.
Can you do all the interviews?
As again, we are all, these are all writers. We'll gobble up the material.
Do it. Take it. Gobble. That's good. I guess one last question before I let you guys go. There is, since everyone has backgrounds in theater of some form or another, the first thing, my husband watched this movie without telling me first. He went behind my back and watched it.
Oh, rude.
The day he came out, he's obsessed with Christmas. I cannot even.
Divorce, Joey. Divorce.
The paperwork has been filed. He like 5 minutes into the movie, he said to me, or to everyone, that when we were watching it, he was like, "I cannot wait for them to adapt this into a Broadway show so we can all go see it." And obviously something on screen is different than something that you're watching live on stage. And I was curious if what you think what these two songs might look like if you got to see them on stage, or if this was transformed into a Broadway musical. What would you all most look forward to seeing? Besides Judi Dench.
Sukari, come on now.
Judy's appearance during Broadway Cares Week, or is that what you meant? Or
Would she do that line? Would she do that line 8 times a week, do we think?
Just yes,
Just
Definitely.
She would fight for 9 times a
Streaming.
week, I'm sure.
We could wait to see when Nicole's boarding pass is legit, and then she can stream through. I would look forward to the curtain racing.
I think that you know, again, this was written unlike some of the other things that Justin and I have gotten the opportunity to be a part of, where folks are excited about wanting to write or have us write songs that are more in a pop style that then you know, feel like they exist in a movie but also on a soundtrack. These songs are really really wedded to the plot, you know, and that's a style that we came into the theater world working in, and you know, have since written some things that are more leaning into like a pop vernacular of late. So it's really, really fun to get to write things that there's no way that you can take Good Afternoon out of the context of Spirited and have it make any kind of sense. It can't like play on pop radio. You know what I mean? You're not going to get like a cover of the Jonas Brothers singing Good Afternoon, I don't think, anytime soon. And to us, like, we love that because in its most inherent form, it is something that plays theatrically. So the idea of it, you know, existing in a theatrical space and on a stage and all of the things that you can do in theater, and also the proximity and a crowd getting to react in real time to the antics of a Good Afternoon, and this whole what I think is a really heartwarming and positive message in the world. You know, there's nothing like the theater. And so having an opportunity maybe one day to get to have this be in a theater on a proscenium would be really, really swell. And the other thing is, like, the director Sean, I think, conceived a lot of these numbers with a lot of theatricality in mind. You know, some of the numbers are shot very much like you're watching a proscenium stage without the camera doing a lot of movement. It's like it's there, it's Broadway. It's sort of like how a lot of like some of the soundstage stuff was filmed in like a Singing in the Rain movie or whatnot. And I think that, like, you know, leaning into that not in a cinematic way, but actually in the theater would be really, really exciting. So that would be a dream, I think, for everybody on this call. And you know, talk to whatever powers that be, Joey, and you know, to have
Who do you know, Joey? Who do you know? Let's go.
You know Tim Cook, put in a good word for us, okay?
Okay. I'm going to New York in the spring, so I'll see who I can find. I'll start knocking on doors, ringing bells.
Just plant some seeds. Just plant some seeds.
Or if you just have 15 million right now.
Like, only 15 million?
The
okay.
other.
Yeah.
Who do I make?
The other.
So whose Venmo do I send that to? I can do that.
Yeah.
At Mark Sonnenblick.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine?
I'll make sure it gets to the right people.
The right funding was paid through Venmo. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Look, we could beat the first Venmo funded Broadway show. I mean, that's a headline. You know.
Venmo the musical. That's another headline. That's another project.
You Venmoing anyone $15 million is a headline, I feel like. I mean, you can make some news right now, Joey, like that.
I can. Right here, right now. History's being made. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add to that last question I asked before I let you guys go?
Just to echo, I think what I was going to say, like, what you
million.
started, like, it reminded you of like the opening of Beauty and the Beast, or just like that energy. And I think what Benj is saying, like, part of what we love about this movie, but writing these kinds of songs, is they're storytelling songs. This is the characters singing the song. It's crafted for the moment. And those are like the movie, you know, it's one thing to have a song in an amazing way. You get to write a song that plays over the credits, a song that establishes a mood or over a montage or something like that. But to be able to write for these characters that sing the way they do in Beauty and the Beast, those, you know, Disney musicals we grew up on, this was an amazing chance to get to do that. And you don't always get to. So I think we're just feeling grateful for that.
Yeah. I do feel like everybody that we came to, it was sort of like, I want to know who they are. I want to know who they are. I want to know every single tiny little thing. Give me more. All right, guys, well, you guys are a lot of fun. You help make my Monday a lot brighter. So I'm going to watch the movie again and sing this obnoxiously while I see stuff around the house.
Hey,
so
one more thing, please be complicit, because my niece and nephew now, who are 5 and 7, are now like telling me good afternoon, and they like think that it's the sickest burn. So, you know, I think our collective dream is like to really infiltrate all of elementary school students across the country and the world. So, Joey, anything you can do to help us with that?
Yeah,
Like,
just
she- my niece-
subversive good
I
afternoons.
honestly think
everywhere.
that she's like dropping bombs on me, and she's like runs away after she says it and covers her mouth and like is whatever.
That's actually like a really
That's
great
amazing.
like Abbott Elementary crossover episode that I need to like see like right now. Like give
So
that to me.
funny. Good afternoon. Ooh, it's so.
Woo!
Anyway, enjoy and thanks for chatting
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
guys
you,
so much.
Joey.
Good luck
And our
this
best to
season.
your hubby. Bye.
Yeah, bye.